when we accomplish a goal, we have to kind of change something to get there, right? We have to do something to get there. And it really is a biblical principle. It's called the biblical principle of sowing and reaping in Galatians 7. It simply says, a man reaps what he sows, which is like a farming analogy. You sow particular seeds in the ground, and that's the specific crop that you're going to get, whatever you sow. So if you plant the seeds of good intentions, because we all have those, right? If you plant the seeds of good intentions mixed with, just a little bit of laziness, then you will receive absolutely nothing from your planting. But if you plant the seeds of a specific wise plan mixed with diligence, you will enjoy a great result. Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit. And unfortunately, we kind of become lazy, like, the sluggards that God talks about in the Bible. Who wants to think of himself as a sluggard? I can think about other people that way, but not myself. But sometimes we can be a bit like sluggards. We do what we feel like doing, because we all do that. We default to what we feel like doing, like eating an entire bag of double-stuffed Oreos. I just really do love those. Or we feel like snapping at our children because they've just been annoying all day long, or we feel like holding resentment against our husband because of what he did, or we feel like surfing on Pinterest instead of folding the laundry. We operate on what we feel like doing, and then we wonder why our lives are kind of messed up, right? Well, Proverbs 24 says it this way: I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. So we all have goals that we want to reach. We all have this life that we want to grasp, the life that we want, right? But we need to do something to make that happen. And if what you have been doing has not caused you to reach that goal, then you need to change something, right? Does this make sense? It's like this huge light bulb moment for me sometimes. It's like, if what I have been doing has not allowed me to reach my goal, then I need to change something. We need to change something. We need to change something.
Change is coming.
You had some bad things happening in your marriage. She had some bad things happening in her marriage. Husband cheating on you for many years. She finds out about it. This is not a happy occasion. Probably very resentful. Probably very bitter. When you get really bitter and resentful, do you probably get a little bit snappy with your husband?
Hateful.
Yes, hateful. And you can have biting sarcasm, can't you?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think she could teach classes. I just have this feeling that you could slice and dice with sarcasm if you...
Queen.
Yeah, queen.
Queen
So,
of sarcasm.
so you felt entitled because he cheated on you with multiple people. You probably felt entitled to just let him have it. How was that working for you?
Not very well.
How was your marriage flourishing with that?
Not very well.
So one day you kind of had a revelation.
I did.
Okay, tell us about it.
I thought if I want to stay married to this man, which I did, I have to change something. And what was working for me, my sarcasm, my being, maybe cutting him down, even with a little humorous sarcasm in front of others.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. He was taking notes and checking them twice, I'm sure. I thought I was honestly very respectful to him. But, when we'd argue, I would lift my voice. And I'm pretty sure I might have called him a dumbass a time or two. Or, I don't know. If I didn't say it out loud, I certainly felt it. Because I didn't really respect him. I thought, how could I? He's been cheating on me, and it just didn't feel good. But I honestly thought, I was having an argument, so you raise your voice, I raise my voice. That's how it works. And then, with reading in that I'm supposed to respect.
Ephesians 5:33.
Right, and I knew that even before I came to SOS, and you talked about not eye rolling. I mean, the very first time I came to Squadron of Sisters, and
You hated us.
I did. And you're saying that we are to respect. Well, I knew that, but when you said no eye rolling, to even when you're having an argument.
To be respectful.
Yes.
She's still upset about it. Yeah.
So,
But you tried it.
I did, because I thought, if I want this, I'm in this marriage, if I want it to work, I have to change my tone,
Yeah.
that I don't stomp off.
Yeah.
So,
So how did that work? When you made the change to be respectful, whether you felt like it or not, did your marriage start to change?
it did. It did. In fact, very soon, because we were still in the heat of,
Yeah.
it was a mess. So I thought, okay, so I'm really going to have to put this into practice. So it wasn't soon thereafter that we're, and I'm just, do you get that? We're having an argument there. And so I stomp off, who knows if I called him a name, and I thought, check. So, and I turned right around and I said, I am so sorry. That was disrespectful. I know, I can hardly say it. Anyway, it just, you could see that that meant so much to him.
Yeah.
That I,
Yeah. And it started to change your whole
Yes.
marriage. And they had a wedding vow renewal ceremony and
We did.
and put your marriage back together again.
Yeah.
But you made some changes. And he did too. But
did.
you made some changes.
I stopped the sarcasm. I was talking to a counselor also, and she told me, Patty, you can be sarcastic, but be sarcastic with me. Don't be
Yeah.
sarcastic. And that humorous sarcasm doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's so many things. Humiliating your husband in front
Yeah.
of others.
Ooh. Yeah.
You know, you might not think that they're kind of keeping track and getting dinged, but they're getting dinged.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So anyway, I changed that, and I'm still working on it today, because I've been a snot for a long time. It comes easier
Once you practice it.
yes.
And I didn't even realize that I was super critical, and I had no idea why my husband wasn't opening up to me anymore and was withdrawing from me, and just seemed like he wasn't there in our marriage and didn't even voice his opinions anymore. And I just had no idea why he was like that. I mean, I wanted this, husband I could talk to
Right.
and get to know his heart, and I just wasn't sharing that. I can't imagine why.
I don't know. So you made a change and you
Yes.
decided to be more respectful, to speak in a kinder voice. I mean, what change did you make and how did that impact your marriage?
So I just decided that I was going to try and speak respectfully to him. Well, the goal wasn't respect, it was just not to be critical, which is actually respectful.
Yes.
And so I decided to not, whether I wanted to or not, I saw something he was doing that was bothering me. I decided that I was not going to say something as long as
Yeah.
it wasn't a sinful
Right,
thing.
right.
And so I just be like, okay, I trust him. It's a vegetable or whatever the thing
Yeah,
was, and just try to, when I talk to him, do it lovingly, even if there was an argument or
Yes.
whatever it was, but not to be the first thing I come in the door and be like, why didn't you do the dishes? You've been home for 3 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah.
To
So how did
just-
this impact him? He told you a little bit.
Yeah, the weird thing was I felt like I was supposed to talk about the fact that God had me work on not being critical, but I felt like I was supposed to ask my husband what the biggest fruit in my marriage has been from me coming here since I started SOS. And he actually said everything, but I said I want something more specific, and he said that you are respectful. And
Awesome.
and he just started talking about how he knows that he can trust me, and just that I value him, and he can be open with me, and all these things, which was the fruit that I wanted,
Yes.
that I was seeking, to stop being critical. And to him, it spoke respect, which guys crave.
Yes.
When I stopped being critical,
Yes.
and it just
Awesome.
completely transformed our marriage.